to another episode of On the Pitch with TJ Picks. I'm your host, TJ Raff. All right, guys, it's time for our favorite part of the show, the soccer action. Starting off with Saturday in the Premier League, guys. All the leagues are back after the international break. UEFA Nations League was big this week and last week. Got a lot of victories in the VIP Monday and Tuesday. Today we took the day off. Might take the day off tomorrow and do a little bit of the Thursday night football game, guys. Got to remember, though, you can't bet every day and expect to win. You have to take days off sometimes. We had a great Monday, great Tuesday, taking days off, and then back at it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Coming to you right now with Saturday's Premier League action. We're headed to Tottenham. Tottenham at home taking on West Ham in the first game, early game, current standings for these guys. Tottenham 9th place, West Ham 12th place. Tottenham 14 goals scored in 7 games, 8 goals conceded. West Ham 10 goals scored, 11 goals conceded. Looking a little bit more into this game, Tottenham big favorites minus 196. West Ham dogs plus 79. We got to go with Tottenham here, guys. Tottenham to get the victory at home. Their last few matchups, they did draw 1-1 in the last matchup. Before that, Tottenham went down to West Ham 2-1. So I think we get a little revenge game here. Tottenham money line to get the victory. Next game in the Premier League, Ipswich at home taking on Everton. This is a battle of the bottom dwellers, bottom of the standings. Everton's in 16th place. Ipswich is in 17th place. Everton, 7 goals scored, 15 goals conceded. They're both giving up at least 2 goals a game. Ipswich, 6 goals scored, 14 goals conceded in 7 games. This one is a tricky one. Ipswich is plus 141. Everton plus 201. I like a both to score here. Both teams are bad. Both teams give up a lot of goals. Both teams need a win. Give me the both to score here. Give me goals too. Let's go for the over 2.5. Ipswich versus Everton. Both need a win. They're going to be going for the goal. Moving on, Fulham at home versus Aston Villa. Fulham plus 143. Aston Villa plus 177. Current standings, Aston Villa 5th place. Fulham in 8th place. Most recent head-to-head versus these two teams. Who do we see? Who got the win? Aston Villa 2-1 in their last head-to-head back in February of this year. Aston Villa 2-1 victory. Before that, Aston Villa 3-1. Aston Villa 2-0. Aston Villa has been dominating this competition, but because Fulham's at home, let's get a both to score with Aston Villa getting the win. Manchester United, the next game versus Brentford. Manchester United, one of those teams that's up and down. You never know what they're going to do. They're either going to have a good game, really bad game. Manchester United all the way down to the 14th slot, guys. They're not known to be down this low. 7 games, they've only scored 5 goals, conceded 8, so they haven't given up that many goals. Brentford in 7 games have scored 13, given up 13 goals. Most recent games, Manchester United 0-0 versus Aston Villa. Brentford, big 5-3 win over the Wolverhampton Wolves. Lots of goals. I'm expecting goals here in this game, guys. But give me a bounce back win for Manchester United after its terrible start to the Premier League this year. Manchester United with the victory, over 2.5 goals in this game. Newcastle at home versus Brighton in the next game. Current standings, Newcastle 7th place, Brighton 6th place. Brighton, after 7 games, 13 goals scored, 10 goals conceded. Newcastle, 8 goals scored, 7 goals conceded. Most recent games, Newcastle 0-0 draw at Everton. Brighton 3-2 win over Tottenham. You know what? In this game, I'm going to go for both to score. Newcastle, Brighton. But give me Brighton +1. They are the dog, but I think they can at least get a draw here or get a win. Give me Brighton for an upset win. Southampton at home versus Leicester in the next game. Southampton +131. Leicester +200. Current standings, Southampton all the way down to the 19th spot, second to last place. Leicester 15th spot, 9 goals scored, 12 goals conceded. Last head-to-head between these two teams, a 5-0 win to Leicester, guys. Southampton's not playing too well right now at all. Came off, lost to Arsenal, where they saw them, competing most of the game, but then Arsenal pulled away. Leicester 1-0 win over Bournemouth. This is a tricky one, guys. When we get tricky ones like this, not a clear favorite, we're going to go for the both to score here. Allow Southampton, Leicester both to score. Final game for Sunday in the Premier League, Bournemouth at home taking on Arsenal. Bournemouth is currently in the 13th slot on the table. Arsenal's in the 3rd slot. After 7 games, 15 goals scored, only 6 conceded. Great defense for Arsenal. Bournemouth, 8 goals scored, 10 goals conceded after 7 games. They are at home here, though. Bet Arsenal finds a way to get a victory, even if it's only 1-0. They have great defense. Give me Arsenal to edge out a victory here at -149. Seems a little trappy. Bournemouth can score a goal, but give me Arsenal to get the victory, -149. French League, we would like to look for one team in the French League, PSG, and they are playing this Saturday. PSG is a -345 favorite versus Strasbourg. Let's see at the standings. PSG in first. Actually, they're in second place. It's just so common for me to think that PSG is in first place because they dominate that league. They are second place behind Monaco. They have 17 points. Monaco in first with 19 points. PSG, 21 goals scored, 6 goals conceded. Strasbourg in 7 games, 14 goals scored, 12 goals conceded. I think Strasbourg can get a goal versus PSG. We're going to keep doing what we've been doing all year long, guys, taking PSG to get a victory over 2.5 goals. We may just go with the over 2.5 goals, but you also might want to take PSG money line in a parlay. Let's go PSG. And now for Saturday's Bundesliga action, our favorite league. Let's go. Bayer Leverkusen at home versus Eintracht Frankfurt. Current standings for these two teams. Eintracht Frankfurt, 3rd place, 14 goals scored, 9 goals conceded. Bayer Leverkusen, 16 goals scored, 12 goals conceded. Bayer Leverkusen is at home. We're taking Bayer Leverkusen. We're going to see some goals here. Bayer Leverkusen for the win. Moving on to the second game, Saturday, Bundesliga, Hoffenheim at home versus VfL Bochum. Current standings, Hoffenheim, 16th place. VfL Bochum, 18th place. Guys, bottom of the barrels. These guys both need a win. You know what we're going to do here? We're going to go both to score. We're going to go goals. Not going to pick a winner, guys. Just bet goals. Bet both to score. Freiburg in the next game taking on Augsburg. Freiburg is the favorite. Current standings, Freiburg in 4th place after 6 games, 9 goals scored, 7 conceded. Augsburg, 9 goals scored, 15 conceded. Freiburg, you never know what you're going to get with Freiburg. They're going to win a game they're supposed to win, or they're going to lose a game that they're supposed to win. In their last game, they won 2-1. Prior to that, they won 1-0. And 3 weeks before that, Freiburg was a big, heavy favorite at home versus St. Pauli, and they lost 3-0. That's what I'm talking about when you look at this team. Augsburg, on the other hand, coming off a 1-0 victory in a friendly, that didn't count. They came off another victory in Bundesliga, 2-1 versus Borussia Mönchengladbach, and they lost to RB Leipzig. So even though we don't know what we're going to get from Freiburg, give me Freiburg to edge out the win here, -141. Freiburg, don't do it to me again. We took you as a favorite money line versus St. Pauli, and you ruined us. So you owe us. Freiburg with the victory, -141. Moving on to Mainz versus RB Leipzig. RB Leipzig, -120 favorite. Current standings, RB Leipzig, second place. They have very good defense, 9 goals scored, only 2 conceded in 6 games. Mainz, on the other hand, 11 goals scored, 10 goals conceded. Just for that fact alone, there might be goals here, but the fact that RB Leipzig is away, very good defensively, we're going to stay away from the goals here and go for the straight win, RB Leipzig, to get the victory. Next game, Borussia Mönchengladbach at home versus FC Heidenheim. Current standings, Borussia Gladbach, 14th place, 7 goals scored, 10 goals conceded. FC Heidenheim, 10 goals scored, 8 goals conceded. Current last matchup, they were 1-1 head-to-head. Heidenheim coming off a 0-1 loss to Leipzig. Gladbach coming off a 2-1 loss to Augsburg, 1-0 victory to Union Berlin. Not so high-scoring games here. We're going to have to go with the home team. Favorite here. We're not going to bet the goals, but we're taking Borussia Mönchengladbach to get the victory at home. And that takes us to the big dogs. Bayern Munich at home versus Stuttgart. Bayern Munich, heavy favorite. We're, of course, taking goals here. Hope it's not a trap. Both of these teams have guys that can dominate and score goals. Current standings, Bayern Munich with Harry Kane trying to get rid of the curse. He's never won a trophy. Maybe this is the year. I think this might be the year. They're in first place after 6 games. 20 goals scored, most goals scored by any team in the Bundesliga. Only 7 conceded. They are giving up at least 1 a game, though. Stuttgart, 15 goals scored, 11 goals conceded in 8th place. Stuttgart, I do believe, let me check here, in the last game, did not give us our result that we wanted. Yep. Stuttgart versus Hoffenheim, 1-1, guys. Stuttgart should have won that game. We should have seen goals. Didn't happen. Bayern Munich in their last game versus Eintracht Frankfurt, 3-3. They didn't get a win either. And in Champions League, they lost to Aston Villa. So Bayern Munich's looking for that win. They're going to get the win. And we are going to get some goals this weekend, guys, from Bayern Munich and Stuttgart. Give me Bayern Munich for the win. And we're also going to take some goals. One more game that we're going to look at, La Liga Spain for Saturday, Real Madrid versus Celta Vigo. Real Madrid in their last game won 2-0 versus Villarreal. Champions League, they lost to Lille from France, 1-0. Nobody saw that coming. That was an upset. Celta Vigo coming off a 1-0 victory over Las Palmas. Very bad team. Before that, Celta Vigo 1-1 versus Girona. Give me Real Madrid, guys, to get a big win. -164 right now. It's a little juicy. But let's take Real Madrid with a big win on Saturday for La Liga over Celta Vigo. That'll do it for Saturday's soccer action. All right. Sunday's soccer action takes us back to the Premier League. Wolverhampton Wolves taking on the all-powerful, almighty Manchester City and Holland. Holland's been a scoring machine. Wolverhampton Wolves have been involved in games with a lot of goals, so you know where I'm going here, guys. We're going to get goals. Wolves score goals. They give up a ton of goals. Manchester City scores a ton of goals. Manchester City, second place. 17 points, right behind Liverpool. So if Liverpool gets a victory, Manchester City has to get a victory to stay in March for that first place slot. Wolverhampton Wolves, bottom of the barrel, super last place team in 7 games, have scored 9 goals, but have conceded 21 goals. We're talking about the worst defense going up against the best offense. So on paper, guys, this should be an easy one. Manchester City minus 303. They will get the win. We're going to get goals. Liverpool closing out Premier League for Sunday versus Chelsea. I like this matchup here, guys. Chelsea's been doing really good this year, been playing well. They're in 4th place in the Premier League after 7 games, 16 goals scored, 8 goals conceded. Liverpool, 13 goals scored, only 2 conceded. Very good defense. Very good defense. Chelsea coming off a 1-1 draw at Nottingham Forest. That was a surprise. We didn't see that one coming. Prior to that, in Premier League, Chelsea won 4-2 versus Brighton. Liverpool, on the other hand, 1-0 win over Crystal Palace. Not a lot of action. They played kind of tight. Got a 1-0 win. Before that, they won 2-1 versus Wolverhampton Wolves. I kind of want to bet goals here, but I don't think I can just because it's the later game on Saturday. Liverpool minus 154 favorite. Guys, I'm going to have to go with the boat to score here. We are going to take boat to score. Each team gets a goal. It might stay 1-1. Liverpool should win this game, but the better pick is boat to score. Moving on to Bundesliga for Sunday. Holstein Kiel at home taking on Union Berlin. Union Berlin, known for its defense, being one of the teams where in the Bundesliga you usually see a lot of goals, but in Union Berlin there tend to be low to not so many goals when Union Berlin plays. Looking at the standings right now, Holstein Kiel all the way down to the 17th slot, second to last. 6 games, 9 goals scored, 19 goals conceded. Union Berlin, 6 games played, 6 goals scored, only 4 conceded, and that's what I'm talking about, guys. Low-scoring games. Union Berlin, last game, they did beat Dortmund. Surprise there. Prior to that, they lost 1-0 to Gladbach. So as you can see, versus top teams, they tend to play tight, and there tends to not be so many goals. Holstein Kiel, 2-2 versus Bayer Leverkusen in the last game. Surprising tie there. Holstein Kiel 2-4 lost to Eintracht Frankfurt. Tend to be a lot of goals when Holstein Kiel plays. Union Berlin, when they play, not tend to be tons of goals. So this is a tricky one. I am going to go for the win by the visiting team, Union Berlin, to get the victory. Final game for Sunday, Bundesliga action. Wolfsburg versus Werder Bremen. Current standing, Werder Bremen, 11th place. Wolfsburg, 12th place. They're right next to each other. Werder Bremen, 6 games, 8 goals scored, 12 goals conceded. Wolfsburg, 13 goals scored, 12 goals conceded. They're scoring 2 goals a game. They're conceding 2 goals a game. So you know what that means, guys. We're going to bet the boat to score in this one. Wolfsburg, Werder Bremen, boat to score. I don't have a winner in that game. Just pick the boat to score. Scanning some of the games here. La Liga Spain, Barcelona. We got to look there. That's one of the top teams in the Spanish league. They're coming off a 3-0 win over Alaves. Sevilla coming off a 1-0 win over Betis. Sevilla, prior to that, 1-1 versus Athletic. 2-1 versus Valladolid. Sevilla plays better defense and tends to have low-scoring games. But I think we're going to see some goals in this one. We're going to see Barcelona with the win. Barcelona to win, -1.5. They're big favorites, -345. So we might want to take them in a money line parlay. But give me Barcelona -1.5, over 2.5 goals. I think Sevilla might be able to sneak one in. We might see like a 2-1, 3-1 possible in that game. And that'll do it, my friends, for the Sunday Soccer League action. All right, guys, it's that time for the Saturday parlay, 2-game parlay. We're going with the over parlay, 2 teams, 2 games. 4 teams, 2 games. Saturday, we're going to the Bundesliga, and the 2 teams, 2 games that we're betting for the parlay are going to be Bayer Leverkusen versus Eintracht Frankfurt. Bayer Leverkusen, Eintracht Frankfurt over 2.5. Parlay that with Bayern Munich versus Stuttgart, guys. They owe us some goals. Bayern Munich versus Stuttgart over 2.5. Parlay that with Bayer Leverkusen, Eintracht Frankfurt, and that'll do it for Saturday's over 2.5 parlay of the day. Sunday's parlay of the day, 2-teamer. We're headed to the Premier League for the first leg. Manchester City, Wolverhampton Wolves, over 2.5. That'll be the first leg of the over parlay for Sunday. And we're going to parlay that with the Bundesliga game, Werder Bremen versus Wolfsburg, over 2.5. There you have it, guys. Parlay those 2 games, Bundesliga game, Wolfsburg, Werder Bremen, over 2.5. Parlayed with the Premier League game, Wolverhampton Wolves, Manchester City, over 2.5 for your Sunday 2-game parlay. There you have it, guys. Good luck. All right, fellas, I got a little treat for you. I don't talk much about baseball, but I have followed all these sports for all these years that I've been doing this, capping business. So let me tell you something about the Dodgers, Mets series, NBA series. Also, we're going to talk about that as well. What I'm seeing in this series, in this Major League Baseball series, the Dodgers versus the Mets, I'm seeing kind of a scripted to go to game 7 type of series. And I told my buddies that this might happen. You see this a lot in the NBA where one team will win the first game decisively and it will look like the other team's not even showing up. And then game 2, the other team takes the night off and that's the other team win. And if you look at this series right now, we're talking on Wednesday midweek, Dodgers just won game 3. 8-0, guys. 8-0. Dodgers did not show up game 2 at all. Mets won game 2. And guess what? Dodgers won game 1. So I'm thinking if everything that I've been saying is correct, guess who's going to win the next game? The next game is going to be the Mets. Dodgers might take the day off tomorrow. So think about this. To a certain extent, to a certain point, you could say there's some type of things going on in sports where they're manipulated, where they're controlled. I feel that certain games can be controlled, have been controlled in the past. But think about this. pitched Flaherty pitched week 1, and he was looking terrible versus the Padres. He got hit, dominated. So everybody thought he would get dominated again in game 1. And what happened? He looked like a Cy Young pitcher versus the Mets. Shut him down. Mets couldn't do anything. The Dodgers win decisively game 1. Look at game 3. Bueller got smacked by the Padres. Gave up 5-6 runs, had 0 strikeouts. So everybody today thought that would happen again. So a lot of people took the Mets thinking, oh, Bueller doesn't have it anymore. He sucks. He's not good. Look what happened to him versus the Braves. Versus the Padres. Look what happened to him versus the Padres. And guess what happened tonight, guys? Walker Bueller looked lights out. I watched the middle of the game. By the time I stopped watching it, he had 6 strikeouts, guys, considering he had 0 strikeouts in the previous outing versus the Padres. So there you go, guys. Is it manipulated? Is it controlled? If I am correct in what I'm saying, we're going to see a series go to 7 games. We're going to see the Mets win game 4 and it go 2-2 and then go back and forth to LA. Think about how much money they lose when the series ends in 4 games. Speaking of ending in 4 games, Yankees are up 2-0. So if you have that same type of mentality, think about the Cleveland Indians winning the next 2, or at least one of the next 2 to extend the series. If there's a sweep, then I'm totally wrong this season. But you do see that in the NBA a lot when the playoffs are in the second, third, fourth round, final round. Teams tend to take the nights off, and you wonder, man, did they get a call? Are they all of a sudden not playing? Mets today couldn't hit with runners in scoring position. Looked like they took the night off. Or is Walker Buehler back in stride? Is he a great pitcher again? Just something that I want to talk about, guys. I am a Dodger fan. I am rooting for the Dodgers, so I'm hoping to see Yankees Dodgers. That's what everybody wants to see. But we know big sports companies make more money when there's more games, parking sales, ticket sales, hot dog sales, beer sales, you name it. Sweeps do not benefit these sports companies, NBA, Major League Baseball. That being said, go Dodgers, and let's see what happens. Let's get right into the NFL for this Sunday action. I guess we're headed back to London. Jacksonville Jaguars in London again for another game. Last week, we saw the Jacksonville Jaguars in London for a game versus the Chicago Bears, where the Bears dominated them 35-16. So I'm not really sure why these games are still in London. I don't know if they have a contract and why it's the Jaguars in London all the time. But for some reason, we're going to London again. It looks like the Jaguars can now be called that's their home team. The Jaguars are the home team in London because they've been playing there quite often. New England, Jacksonville Jaguars, early game Sunday. Jaguars are actually favored -5.5, over under 42.5. Last week, I actually sent my VIP guys the over in the London game, just saying, hey, there's got to be points. It's out of the country. Got to make it exciting. And it ended up going over. In this game, Jacksonville Jaguars favored -5.5 versus the New England Patriots, who are also 1-5. Patriots got smacked by the Texans 41-21 in the previous game. I'm going to go for another over in this one. It's in London. Got to be exciting. The over-under is 42.5. Give me the Patriots, though, again, versus the Jaguars. I did take the Bears in the last game, so I'm going to keep betting against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Give me the New England Patriots +5.5, and give me the over 42 in London. And that'll do it for that game. Moving on to the next game, we're headed to New York. Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New York Giants. Currently, the Eagles are -3 favorites in New York versus the Giants. Giants 2-4, Eagles 3-2. Previous games, we saw the New York Giants play terrible versus the Cincinnati Bengals, losing to them 17-7. Philadelphia Eagles, on the other hand, didn't cover the spread, but they did beat the Browns 20-16. Very uneventful game. It was close. Eagles -4, Giants +4, over under 43. I think I would tease this one. Giants +11, under 50. But if you want to go with the straight up spread, give me the Giants +4. Moving on to the next game, Seattle Seahawks going to Atlanta to take on the Atlanta Falcons, the mighty Atlanta Falcons, who are 4-2 right now. Seattle Seahawks 3-3, coming off a very disappointing, ugly game, high scoring versus the San Francisco 49ers. They were defeated 36-24. Atlanta Falcons coming off a big victory over the Carolina Panthers, 38-20. Both of these teams saw a lot of points being scored, and that's why the line's at 51. I could see this one going over as well, again, because we see two teams here that like to put up a lot of points and aren't playing that great of a defense in their current past games. I'm going to go with the favorite here. Give me the Atlanta Falcons -3 to get the victory here at home. Cincinnati Bengals headed to the Cleveland Browns. Kind of like a little rivalry game. These guys always have good matchups. Bengals playing in Cleveland, -6 favorites currently as we do this podcast midweek. So that's the current line. Cleveland Browns coming off a 16-20 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. We just mentioned that. The Bengals coming off a 17-7 win over the terrible New York Giants. I still think this is too many points. Give me the Cleveland Browns +6 at home. Moving on to the next game, we got the Texans headed to Green Bay. Green Bay 4-2, Texans 5-1. Green Bay coming off a big win, 34-13 versus the Arizona Cardinals, and they're staying at home and welcoming the visiting Houston Texans, who also pounded their opponents last week, 41-21 versus the New England Patriots. Man, this is a tough one, guys. Very tough one. Seems like the over-under should be easy here, but it is set at 47.5. I'm going to do a teaser here. Give me the Texans +10 over 40.5. I love that teaser, guys. I love it. But if I were to pick a team straight up, I may go with the Green Bay Packers to cover the spread. But I love the teaser here with the 7 points. Give me Houston Texans +10 over 40.5 in that one. Moving on to Minnesota. 5-0 Minnesota Vikings. Who would have thought that we'd be saying that after week 5? Minnesota Vikings 5-0, hosting the Detroit Lions with another good record, 4-1. Minnesota Vikings have been playing very well right now, looking dominant, both sides of the ball. Minnesota Vikings coming off a win versus the terrible New York Jets. That was also a London game. Minnesota Vikings won 23-17. Detroit Lions coming off a huge win over the sad Dallas Cowboys, 47-9. They got a lot of momentum going as well. Over-under is really high on this one, 50 points. We're expecting a lot of points. But when I see a huge line like that for the over-under, I like to tease under, especially after both teams put up a lot of points the previous week. Vikings are -1.5, pretty much a pick 'em. Give me the Detroit Lions +8, under 57.5, and a great teaser for this one. Lions +8.5, under 50.5. Whew. To pick a winner in this one, it's pretty much a coin flip, guys. Lions, Minnesota at home. You know what? Give me the Lions to get the win here, guys. I'm feeling the Lions. My gut's saying the Lions. We're going to go with the Lions. It's going to be a good game. Moving on to Indianapolis Colts taking on the Miami Dolphins in the next game. Colts are 3-3. Dolphins are 2-3. Colts are favored -3 in this game. Colts are coming off a 20-17 victory over the Tennessee Titans. Meanwhile, the Miami Dolphins coming off a win 15-10 over the New England Patriots. This one's tricky. You got to go with the home team. Both terrible teams. Give me the home team, Indianapolis Colts, -3 to take that win. Moving on to Buffalo Bills taking on the Tennessee Titans. Man, the line is -10. Just for that alone, guys, I'm going to take the Titans +10. That's too big of a spread. I know the Bills are 4-2. The Bills are also coming off a close, narrow win over the New York Jets, 23-20. Titans, on the other hand, in their last game, coming off a close 20-17 loss to the Colts. So just too many points, guys. Give me the Titans +10 in this game. Over-under is 41. Not going to touch that one. Las Vegas Raiders versus the Los Angeles Rams. Both of these teams used to be from LA. A lot of fans in LA going to be there rooting on the Raiders. Raiders are terrible right now. They did lose their star receiver, but like the coach said the other day, he wasn't here the last 4 weeks, so we're not any different. The only problem is him not being there, them not being any different is not good because they've been playing like crap. The good news is they're visiting the Los Angeles Rams, who have a worse record than the Raiders. 1-4 Rams. at home, coming off a 24-19 loss to the Green Bay Packers, hosting the Las Vegas Raiders, who looked terrible again versus the Steelers. It seemed like they had a chance in the very beginning. They were close, got pounded 32-13 by the Steelers. 6.5 points, though, for the 1-4 Rams. Since this used to be kind of like a rivalry, you know what? I'm going to take the Raiders without Devontae Adams in a I don't know what you want to call it, but kind of like a make a point game. Hey, Devontae, we don't need you. See you later. Goodbye. We're better without you. Give me the Raiders plus 7 points to cover the spread and possibly even win here. I know I'm going on a stretch here, but I think it could happen. Carolina Panthers visiting the Washington Redskins. I still call them the Redskins. I don't like calling them their new name just because I'll always remember them as the Washington Redskins at home. 51.5 over under. Carolina Panthers are +8 dogs. Washington Commanders 4-2. Carolina Panthers 1-5. Washington Redskins coming off a 30-23 loss to the Baltimore Ravens, playing a tough team. Carolina Panthers last game lost 38-20 to the Atlanta Falcons. Panthers look terrible. You know what? Give me the Redskins to cover here, -7.5. Redskins, Washington, win big. Kansas City Chiefs versus the 49ers. The rematch, Super Bowl rematch is this Sunday. Who do you got? It's going to be a good game. San Francisco 49ers, 3-3. Kansas City Chiefs, 5-0. The spread is 49ers are favored. Come on now. How can the 49ers be favored? Kansas City Chiefs have their number. This might be one of those traps in the NFL. 49ers coming off a big win over the Seahawks, 36-24. Kansas City Chiefs in their last game beat the Saints 26-13, both playing well. You know what? I think this is going to be Kansas City Chiefs' first loss, guys. 49ers in a revenge of the Super Bowl win that the Kansas City Chiefs, just had in the recent Super Bowl. The line's close, seems trappy, seems like a gift to get the 49ers it seems like a gift to get the Chiefs as a dog. I know it's a pick 'em 49ers -1.5. It's midweek. Everybody's going to be on the Chiefs. I don't think anybody's going to be on the 49ers. Give me the 49ers to upset the Chiefs and hand them their first loss at home. Let's go. Final game of Sunday. Looks like a crappy one. New York Jets versus the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Sunday Night Football. Steelers are 4-2. Jets are 2-4 and are favored in this one right now. This could change. I don't know why they're favored right now. I don't know what's going on. It's Pittsburgh Steelers coming off that big win off the Raiders against the Raiders. I know it's a terrible team, but prior to that, they lost to the Dallas Cowboys, who have not been looking good. Jets coming off that close loss, 23-20 to New York Jets. You know what? Give me a good defensive game here. Good battle defensively. Over under is a very low 38. I'm going to take whoever is the dog in this game plus the points and the under for the teaser. Not going to pick a side here. So just remember, for this game, look for whoever's the dog, add 7 points to their spread, and then add 7 points to the over-under. And that's going to be the Sunday night teaser of the weekend. And that'll do it for Sunday's football NFL action. All right, my friends, my favorite degenerates, thanks again for your support, for tuning in for another podcast of On the Pitch with TJ Picks. This is your host, TJ Raff, signing off, saying good luck, have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Boom shakalaka. Let's go.